Shout out to J&J.
So I just want to send a shout out to J&J Sports for having me once again.
Episodes, man. You guys got a real good thing going on.
So up next, former Jets defensive lineman Mark Gastineau goes face to face with Brett Favre over the sack record. So Gastineau has been fuming over his sack record of 22 getting broken by Michael Strahan in January of 2002. Strahan got 22 and a half sacks. Okay. So just to kind of start us off, is it fair for players to be mad about the records getting broken?
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, because you worked hard for their record and you want to maintain it. I mean, if you're into the game like that, yeah, you're going to feel a way regardless. So.
Yeah, I know Gastineau had actually confronted quarterback Brett Favre, and not Strahan who had broke the record, but Favre who Strahan had sacked to get that record. And so in like the video, you see Gastineau go up to Brett Favre.
Yeah.
And Favre attempts to shake his hand. He sticks his hand out, and Gastineau doesn't even make an attempt to grab.
Okay.
And he gets in his face and says, "Yeah, when you fell down, I'm gonna get my sack back, dude." And then Favre is like, "You would probably hurt me."
Wow.
Well, I don't care. You really hurt me, Brett. You hear me? And then Favre finishes with, "I hear you." And then Favre's manager or something says, "Well, you got to get back to the signing," and that kind of ends the whole thing.
Right.
But it was actually pretty tense. Do you think Favre handled the situation the right way?
Yeah, I feel like he handled it the best way he could. Because I mean, that's a tough situation. You're basically in a tough spot. Somebody's coming at you with that type of energy. He probably was scared in that moment. I'd be scared too. A big defensive player coming at me like that. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Yeah, it's bizarre that he had confronted Favre and not confronted Strahan over getting the sack record. It's almost like maybe he's happy for Strahan but mad with Favre.
Right. Or like, are they connected? Or it's some way Brett Favre and they might have to be connected some type of way. Because why are you not coming at him with it? But
Yeah, what was pretty bizarre was Gastineau was actually at that game where Strahan had broke the record, and after the game, he congratulated Strahan.
Right.
And then, by 2020, he was telling ESPN that he's not happy.
Do you think that's weird situation? Like, do you feel like people was getting in his head? Like, oh man, that's not a good thing. You know what I mean? Did you think he got in his head a little bit, or he just been felt that way? He just was hiding it.
Yeah, I think that's just how he feels. I think when he got to 22 sacks, which is that's massive to get something like that.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
But once you get to that record, maybe you think there's no way anyone's going to be able to beat this considering how difficult it was.
Right, exactly. And then somebody beats it, it's like, he probably wouldn't feel the way if they beat it and he was like retiring or close to that point. Like, whatever, let them take over. But it's like,
it's the other New York team, too, which is pretty interesting.
Right.
Because you got, the Jets and the Giants, and there's a major rivalry.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So he was quoted as saying, "It's my record, and I want it to be known that it's my record. I'm not going to say I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. It's my record. Being nice and being a good sport, that's good, but it's not real.
Yeah.
I'm kind of a liar in that way. I feel like there's just something wrong." So
Okay.
he is in the Jets' Ring of Honor. Do you think that he should be in the Pro Football Hall of Fame?
Yeah, definitely. 22 sacks. I mean, ain't nobody ever did that. So, yeah.
And, he was so upset over this, he had kind of finished with saying, "Anybody will tell you that Brett Favre took a dive." Do you think that Favre took a dive there, or do you think he was just playing the game?
I think he was just playing the game. Like I said, yeah, he's just being Brett Favre.
What's interesting, you have T.J. Watt of the Pittsburgh Steelers in 2021 was the only other player to tie his record with 22. And do you think that the increased quarterback protections that the league has done has led to a decrease in sacks?
Yeah. The game is so, soft nowadays. It's like, yeah, you can't even hit the quarter. You can't even hit a player that hard. So
you're getting these high-scoring games, and it seems like it's all about offense.
Because they know deep down, if it was back in the day, how they played when they was playing, the score wouldn't be that high. Because it would be difficult. Like, you would have to be that quarterback in order to score. You know what I mean? So then you had the Ray Lewises. You had that people that really read your offense and knew, it's like, yeah.
Yeah, I miss that focus on defense. And,
Yeah.
Maybe they'll bring it back, but it doesn't seem like it's going to happen.
Right.
So, Gastineau, he's very accomplished. Defensive Player of the Year in 1982, four-time first-team All-Pro, five-time Pro Bowler, and two-time NFL sack leader.
Man.
So he ended his career out with 107.5 sacks. Those are pretty solid numbers, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah, that's no question.
Yeah, and I had thought about it too. Like, I agreed with you of why isn't he in the Hall of Fame?
Right.
There's got to be something going on. So I looked into it, and he does have a bit of a bad history. So I think that's probably what.
Like criminal history.
Yes.
Gotcha.
In 1984, he assaulted someone outside Studio 54 in New York. He got arrested in 1991 at Phoenix Sky Harbor Airport. He was trying to buy a big pack of amphetamine pills, or trying to pick some up. That's what I heard. And then in 2000, he hit his wife and then skipped anger management and ended up getting 18 months of prison in the process.
Okay. See, now it all makes sense now.
Do you think that's why he's not in the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, absolutely. That's always what happens to stars. They get into some situation that kind of decreases their value as far as the level they're supposed to be at. Even if you're one of the best to ever do it, if you have a bad history, it's like it kind of dampers it.
Yeah, and this had me kind of wondering about, on-field, off-field, and the relationship between the two.
Yeah.
Do you think that a personal life should affect on-field achievements?
No, it shouldn't, but at the same time, it's like you can't really hide from it. If you're a big player, star, anybody can see you out on the street in public, camera, somebody's recording, and they're like, yo, look at this. You know what I mean? So it's just like, if you have if you want to keep your personal life personal, just make sure you're doing it in private to where it doesn't hit the media. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, I agree. And I guess in some ways, though, because they have to hold themselves in a certain way, because they're role models for the youth, the stuff you do off the field is just as important as the stuff you do on the field.
Definitely, yeah, it has to.
As you were mentioning, like, the fact that everybody's watching them, that definitely ups the whole thing.
Right, and it's funny, James. I notice a lot of the star players or athletes out here, they always have a crazy story or history. You know what I mean? Something criminal-wise or something just crazy. You know what I mean? Versus the regular players that's just like regular. But it's the star ones that's always like we heard about Patrick Mahomes, his dad going to jail. Just different stuff, different situations. So yeah.
Favre actually tweeted out, I thought he did it the right way, posting on X or Twitter on December 10th. And he said, Mark definitely left an indelible mark on the game. I hope this controversy brings attention to how great he was. He belongs in Canton, where the Hall of Fame is.
Yeah.
And then he said, Merry Christmas, everyone. So do you think he will ever make it to the Hall of Fame, Gastineau?
I mean, if they look past his record, yeah. That's all on, depending on them. Like, okay. But based off if I'm thinking based off his resume without his personal, yes. That's hands out.
Yeah, I guess maybe if we had never had that whole cancel culture of a few years back, maybe it would be easier for him
to get in. He probably would have already been in right now. So, yeah.
But y'all let us know about what you think about that. Did Favre take a dive? And do y'all think Gastineau belongs in Canton?
Yeah.
J&J Sports coming to y'all with more in 2024.